Well, Reading has a clean sheet and also a point gained for the first time in 7 games. 8 if you include the Kidderminster defeat. But is this good news? No, because the game was terrible. We are playing arguably the worst team in the league at the moment, Peterborough, and you've got to be the worst team in the league if you're not just leaps and bounds jumping ahead of us because of just how many games in a row. It's just been loss after loss after loss. Um, and like even Derby, who had a 21-point deduction, is jumping ahead of us soon. I'm saying they're jumping ahead of us soon if Pauno stays. And no, I don't want to be another person that's just jumping on his back. We saw, I know, like there was protests for the commentary game, and it spewed over a bit. So just very small amount of people ran onto the pitch and started really taking it too far. But it's so clear people don't want him here. It's so clear. No one wants him here. I mean, and it's not even like he's a bad guy or anything. He's not a villain. He's just tactically inept. I feel bad even saying that. Like I know he's a nice guy, but he should leave because it's just pointless now. He clearly just hasn't got the team on his side. I think Reading Chronicles were saying that even members within the team want him gone. Again, just because they're not gaining anything out of him. And you can see this clearest from crosses and from corner set pieces, where it is just complete chaos. It's Sunday League at that because just everyone crowds into the box. For some reason, there's no one on the outside of the box ready to spring, get the ball, and run to the other side of the pitch. Everyone just from Reading just goes into the box, huddles, and defends like they're defending for their life. Every single corner, they're acting like it's the 98th minute, last shot, last hit of the dice from the other team, and we're like 30 minutes into the game, and it's like, why is it such stress over this? I won't even blame Hine. I know he should probably be a bit more calm and collected with gaining crosses in potentially. At the end, Mawson had to really save him for like a small error he had. And I'm going to say a small error because he was frankly a man of the match, Hine. He was great apart from that. People would also say there's another cross in where he maybe got a lucky save, but I don't care. It's a save, so he earns it. And this is where we're at. Hine, I'm going to congratulate as our player of the match. And of course, Pounder comes out after saying, "Oh, we could have won it." I don't know what he was watching. We would have won that if the other team hadn't played for the first 70 minutes. If we're going based on like the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes of the game, where I think Swift and Zhao had their 2 opportunities. Zhao dribbling through incredibly, but just couldn't finish it off. That happens. Swift probably should have scored, but again, like we should get more chances against Peterborough. It's not down to 2 lucky crosses. This isn't Man City we're playing. We're not meant to be taking every single chance we get because it's Peterborough. We should be pretty easily winning the match, and they're not. They're not at all. Even then, there was no cohesion. There's like no reason those shots were coming off because of great set play and passing around between each other, and then Zhao gets a great cross in and he hits it, and it's just just unlucky. No, he's having to dribble through like half a team, and Swift cross maybe slightly different, but that's just a punt. That's just hope. And this isn't even really the players' fault with this rate because it's like there's nothing in attack, there's nothing in defense. Every time they go forward, the other teams Reading's defence just seems all over the place. I know Holmes people will blame for that mostly, but the kid's young and he should be probably getting more protection from Morrison. But at the same time, there just shouldn't be this amount of confusion and chaos, and that's got to be a tactical thing, surely. Um, but here's the other issue: Pauno goes, they get rid of him. Okay, great. Now what? Just have the assistant manager in? We need someone. We need someone to properly come in and give good motivation to the team. Even Luddy Pardew, at least he's as much as people now know he's a bit tactically inept. At least he's got that presence where he can really give a good pep talk. We hear. He had that for Crystal Palace, and teams look, he'll get to a team, he'll start brilliantly, and then it'll fade off. All we need is the start. All we need is the fire in the belly for the last couple, for the last bit of the season. And Pauno's not going to be delivering that anytime soon. I know the likes of Warnock are being linked as well. That would be great. But then we've got to wonder. I know Dai Yong, the owner, he he loves this guy. What's his name? Kai Jarajan. Kai Jarjan, I think. Butchered the name completely, but apparently it's just this advisor who's completely bad news. Um, I know he's been bad news at Everton. I think he's the one that even gave Willian to Arsenal and was involved with West Ham a couple of years ago with those dodgy dealings. When they got Tevez and the other names completely blanks me for a second. But so this guy just sounds like bad news. And who would he get in as manager if he's in the back pocket of the owner and he's giving him advice? Like Christ, like who on earth would we end up with next? So this is where Reading's at really. Hopefully Pauno goes, and people aren't on his back because he's a nice enough guy. He's not evil or anything. It's just not worked out now, and he's got to go. And then someone like Warnock comes in, whoever, and we get a lift and we get some actual like tactics going through in a game, and we can see, oh yeah, like someone's actually been doing training on a pitch rather than just a bunch of lads have come together for playing like basically Sunday League but for the Championship. This team just shouldn't be down here. Like, look at them, player versus player, head to head versus Peterborough, and the players are on way better wages and have got more lustrous careers than the Peterborough players have got. We have a Premier League winner on the team, and he was the worst player probably out there today. Again, is that the manager? Maybe be a bit less harsh. I mean, Drinkwater just looks completely out of it right now. Like, might as well not even pass him right now because it's got to be a form thing, a confidence thing. Because he just can't get the ball. When he does, he's falling over and giving it to the other team and not passing it. As in, like, he can't pass it, he tries and it just goes to the other team. But it's hard not to jump on people's backs right now because of how poor things are going. But I don't want that to be the case. Maybe this guy we've got, Barker from Rangers, maybe he'll be pretty good. But, like, we don't know. We've heard conflicting reports up in Rangers that he was meh, essentially. Pretty pacey, but no end products is what I hear. However, I'm going to judge him for when I see him playing for Reading. You never know. Players always have strange form, when they play for a new club. I know he didn't really work out that well for Oxford last year, but he wasn't bad. He just wasn't like the player they're expecting, maybe. The real issue is why have we got Barker when there's a defender we need? Like, we've already got Tom Ince, and he looked okay. He had a good free kick in the game. So we didn't really need another winger. We need a defender. So why we got Barker in? I don't know. Yeah, like, where do we go from here? I guess people were saying, Hine, what's the point of him coming in? And he's actually been pretty good. Maybe, especially versus Coventry, a couple of those that may have been saved, especially that last one with Stips up and over him. But that was a different game, and he looks much better, much more, much better today. So let's see if that continues for a young guy like him. It's a fair play to the guy, actually. Yeah. I don't really want to end this on like doom and gloom. It's not doom and gloom yet. We're somehow not in the relegation zone, and this point is better for us than it is for Peterborough. But my biggest issue is in Peterborough. My biggest issue is Derby, and like they are scrapping some wins, and they are a team. They are together. Whereas Reading look completely lost right now, with an owner who I won't say is phased. I think he still knows what's going on within the club, but he's not acting, and maybe okay, we have this game, then we have Preston, and coming up so close to each other. And this was the game that really, like, look, can we have any major changes before our biggest game of the season? Maybe not. So I do understand why I didn't sack Pauno after the Coventry game. After this game, it's becoming more like, really, he's got to go. This guy is lost. And like after Preston, like, come on now, like this is actually becoming a joke. And it's not even Pauno's fault. If he's being hung out to dry, he's being hung out to dry and taking a lot of flack. He's tactically inept, and we can now even see this in his post-match interviews where it's coming across delusional more than anything. He's watching completely different teams playing outside. Like, oh yeah, Reading were great. We should have probably won versus Peterborough. What? I guess, yeah. He mentioned like the Jowl chance in particular, but what? That wasn't the game. fucking one of the players, Ward especially, was terrorizing him, just crosses alone. And like we were the ones that are lucky. And Preston, who knows, that's probably a 2-0 loss, and then he'll come out afterwards and say, yeah, well, I saw like, one shot on the other half of the pitch, and that's good enough for me. That's improvement. And he just continues being hung out to dry. So where do we really go? Um, yeah, like, so it's not doom and gloom yet. It's just a bit. It's just a bit pointless. What's going on right now? Like the biggest issue right now is honestly just becoming the manager for the here and now. It's the manager that is just a bit tactically inept, and he's got to go, but they're not acting. And then after that, the players have got to start looking at themselves really and being like, we have to step up properly. And we've just got to hope these things happen, I guess. Who knows? Pauno could always step in and deliver a miracle end to the season. But the chances are really not looking like it at the moment. Yeah, who knows? Onwards and upwards. Come on the R's. And on to Preston. Hope people like this review. This just complete ramble for 12 minutes. I'm going to make the second video I do on Preston after the game shorter. But I guess this is my first video and I'm just sort of rambling after a lot of frustration just being kept up. Like, oh well. Comment below if you're watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed my just complete ramble. By the end of the season, this could be completely different. I could be smiling and being like, "Oh, the team's great, everything's great. I love Panau, best man ever," or I could just be in chains, just like delusional. Oh, Panau's the greatest ever. There's only 28 losses in a row. GG, good game. Who knows what this is going to bring? It's been a wild ride in all the worst ways for the last couple of weeks and months, but there's always the chance we're going to stay up. We're still odds on to stay up. Fingers crossed.